Brilliant stuff, Jules. I love it. I imagine that has been the dance pretty much for the last 24 hours, is it?
Exactly, Dan. I mean, last night after the game, I wrote my piece for the website and then had to cool down. I went to water the flowers in the garden, and even while I was watering the flowers, I was singing Choupo-Moting. It was that bad. It was that bad.
Those poor flowers.
I know, exactly. My goodness. Jules, it was a fascinating game to watch, even if you didn't have a horse in the race. For you, I imagine it was just painful.
It was certainly the most stressful game that I've seen involving PSG, and because this time we were on the other hand, it was down to PSG to try to come back in a game and break someone else's heart, like PSG's hearts have been broken before by Barcelona or Manchester United in the last 3 years, really, and I just never thought they would. And my wife kept saying, like, don't worry, they will score, don't worry. And the children were up and everybody was so stressed, and I couldn't say anything, I couldn't talk. And then finally the first goal happened, and then as soon as Marquinhos scored, I knew they were going to score straight after, and that he would not even go to extra time. And I think it's like 25 years of sadness and remontadas and all those heartbreaks, really, that you've just almost washed away in one night, and an incredible night, and the script that...
Oh, God, you didn't
even
win the
Hollywood
Champions League, Jules. You beat Atalanta, for crying out loud. Calm down.
But that's the thing, Dan. That's the thing. I don't care now. You could...
Oh, shut up. Of course you
If
care.
you lose to
If you
Leipzig-
lose against Leipzig now, you go, oh, don't worry, made it through to the semi-finals. That's fine. Bouncing into the plants again.
No, of course. Now you want to go further, but in the sense that that ceiling of the quarterfinal was so much there, and it'd been there for so long, and especially since the Qatari took over and spent all those millions and billions to try to go further, and it just never happened. And I think psychologically, just the fact that it could have been anyone, it could have been Apoel Nicosia, for all I care. It was just about getting to the last four, getting to the semi-final, even regardless of how they did it, and if it was drama or not drama, if it was comfortable or if it was stressful. It was just about finally getting there again. Like I said, 25 years since the last and only time they've been in the last four of a Champions League or European Cup before. So, yeah, of course you want to go further, but I think psychologically for all PSG fans and for the team and for the club as well, and the owners, it was really about going through that next step and for once making it.
I'm not buying this, Shaka, at all. The owners didn't spend all that money.
You should.
They didn't spend all that money to get into the semi-finals of the Champions League. Surely it's a win. That's what they want. And despite Mr. Jules spinning it this way, they haven't done anything yet.
No, not yet. Listen, I understand exactly how Julien is feeling and what he's saying about the accomplishment of reaching the last four. If we were talking about a Champions League tournament that included Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, City, all the big European clubs, getting to the last four would certainly be an accomplishment. But it's Atalanta. And if you now go and lose against Leipzig, I feel that as all that good feeling, all that sentiment comes crashing down around you. But you enjoy it while it lasts. Thick and fast in this format.
I know it does. Just about what happened, Jules. I love this Neymar discussion because it's fascinating, because he was clearly the best player on the pitch, but he made some massive mistakes as well. So how do we rate his performance overall?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one. I think if you look at the ratings in the French papers, for example, there were 7 out of 10 usually in the French media, because he could have been 9 easily had he just scored one of the three, especially 3 big chances that he got, but he still gave an assist and a second assist on the 2 goals. And also, I think maybe more importantly, because in the end they won. Had they not won, I think he would have been the scapegoat. But now they won, it's a bit different. He's just been unstoppable. He was unplayable, and I've rarely seen such an amazing individual performance watching a game either live or in front of the television. Someone who can take a game and just own it from the first minute to the end. And yeah, of course, it's a shame that he was so wasteful in front of goal. But at least he was there and he created those chances often by himself on his own, because he was the only creative player in that PSG team. Everything just relied on him. And I think all that pressure and all those expectations, and he took them on and then eventually delivered. And I think it's one of those nights that whether you like him or not, you're a fan or not, you like the personality or the attitude or you don't, but I think everybody has to recognize what an incredible talent he is. And when he plays like that, he's certainly one of the top 3, top 5 best players in the world.
Shaka, how would you assess his performance? Because Frank Leboeuf on yesterday's programme was saying, hey, wait a minute, you get paid all these millions and millions of dollars, not to dribble past people, but to score goals.
Yeah, but at the same time, and as much as I understand and sympathise, and I think right to criticise Neymar, particularly for his first half performance, and some of those chances that go to waste. But we have to remember that PSG weren't playing competitive football, and we've made that point time and time again in the build-up to this game. And I think that's what you saw from Neymar in the first half, that rustiness. Then in the second half, and I don't think you've ever seen a game of two halves played out more so than this PSG Atalanta. As good as PSG were in the first half, it was all about the counter-attack and exposing Atalanta defensively. In the second half, this was just all about PSG. And the thing that jumped out for me in particular is the understanding between Neymar and Mbappe once he came on. Listen, there's no question that Mbappe makes you better, regardless of who you are. But there were times that in the first half in particular where Icardi and Neymar, it just didn't seem to link up as smoothly as Mbappe and Neymar did in the second half. And as much as we'll talk about speculation surrounding both of their futures, there is no question that those two have an understanding like no other front two in world football. Ultimately, you have to judge Neymar over the course of the 90 minutes. I take the rustiness in the first 45 if you give me the kind of performance and results in the second 45.
PSG might be able to get away with that in the semi-finals against Leipzig, but they're going to have to really up their game, surely, Jules, for the final, when you imagine they'll come up against a big boy that's really going to test them. They're going to have to improve a lot.
You're right, but if you think about what could change from the Atalanta game to the semi-final and potentially the final, is that Angel Di Maria, for example, who was suspended on Wednesday night, will be back. Marco Verratti, they're really hoping that he could be fit for the semi-final, but certainly would be for the final if there was a final. There was that little injury to Keylor Navas, which would be a huge blow. Not that Sergio Rico is not a good keeper, but he's not as good as Keylor Navas. And losing Navas now would be a huge blow. So they're really hoping as well, praying and having their fingers crossed that Navas will be okay for the semi-final, but again, should be for the final if there is a final. So if you can play your best team in that final, if you get there, then I think obviously this is very different. If you can start Kylian Mbappe, which was not the case on Wednesday night, it's a huge boost as well, because as Shaka said, Mbappe and Neymar together in this kind of form with the understanding that they have and that kind of partnership and relationship that they have is priceless, and that would scare any team, including Manchester City, Bayern Munich or Barcelona. So then I think anything is possible over one game, but it would be very different to anything that they've been there before. A lot of those players have never been in a Champions League final before. It will be very new. Thomas Tuchel certainly has never been that far.
Oh, stop making excuses.
Like
Excuses already. Your excuse already. They already made it to the final. You set up an excuse. Oh, they've never been to the final.
No, but I'm just responding to your question about they will have to up their game. Of course, all of those people I've just named will have to up their game. Otherwise, they will get to the final and get blown away by Bayern Munich, for example. So they will have to be, but they certainly think even more now that this is their year and they have that really core belief that they can go all the way.
We definitely need a Jules cam if they make it through to the final. We could watch him.
I'm not sure I can watch it. I'm not sure I could watch that final if they get there.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. More from Shaka and Jules, by the way, on Extra Time, answering your tweets. You can check that out over on our YouTube channel. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.